Welcome to Vintage Gaming Memories. Shall we play a game?
Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I may need your help with this video because most of what's inside this box, I'm clueless. I kind of purchased this on a whim, but I figured what I don't know, I'll soon find out. So let's get this opened up and start my education. Well, as you can see, there's a lot of cartridges in here and some other items like boxes. These are all Atari 8-bit games. Most are from Atari age, and some are supposedly rare. So let's pull each one out and just kind of do a quick overview of what they are, and then we'll dive deeper. So this one here looks like it's the Laser Blast manual. It's laminated. It's 2020. And we'll take this thing out here. This is the Lite Rally Collector's Edition. This is from Retronics. And then we have another Collector's Edition cartridge. This is the Rescue Expedition. Okay. And then we have a bunch of loose cartridges in here. We have Beef Drop, Scramble, Adventure 2, Laser Blast, and then last but not least, Castle Crisis. So where do we start with all this? Well, there's 7 games in total, the 5 loose cartridges, and then we have 2 boxes. Both of these are collector's edition boxes from Retronics. And we do have the manual for Laser Blast, which would be that game there. So I think what I want to do is take each game individually, pop them in, get a little idea of how the gameplay is, and then go on to the next. Now these cartridges with these labels on top, I'm going to definitely take them off. I mean, it's nice to have identifiers. That way you don't have to pull it out and turn it over to see what game it is. But I really don't want labels like that on top. I'd just rather see it on the front. Plus, I don't want this to rip off the label. So I think that's what I'll do first. Let me get these labels removed and then go through each one of these and see how they work, and hopefully they all work. I believe there's some surprises in each of these boxes, so we'll have to check that out as well. So let me get everything set up, and I'll be back in 1 second. Okay, so here is where I'm at with these 5 games, because those are the ones with the labels on them. I removed them carefully from all 5 carts, and you can see that the labels are completely gone. So that's nice. I was careful about it because I didn't want to rip the actual label on the cartridge. And I also did a quick read on each of these 5 games so I could understand how to play them, because they did not come with instructions. Well, I take that back. One of them did, and that would be the Laser Blast one, which is this one. And I did read this as well. So I am well versed as far as how to play all 5 of these games, as well as these 2, because there are instructions for them. And what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to do a video capture of each of these games and load them onto my Atari 800 XL, which is modded. And that should definitely handle these games, no problem. And then we'll just talk about each one of them, and then I'll look for your feedback as far as giving me some more insight as to whether or not these are rare games, or if you've ever played them and you like them, or just whatever you want to say, because I've never, well, no, I've heard of some of these games, to tell you the truth. I think these 2 are from Poland, which I've never heard of, and they look pretty cool. But as you'll see as I go through these, they're pretty common. Adventure 2 is what I'll start with. I have an alphabetical order for these 5 that are not in the box. So we'll start with Adventure 2. And you can see Atari age. I love this translucent case. This cartridge, you can see the back, and you can see the chip inside. It says A2XE, the Venture 2 XE. So we'll give this a shot, and we'll see how this looks and see if it works, actually, because that's what we're going to test to make sure all of these work. You know what? Before I go ahead and insert this into the 800XL, let me just give you a really quick rundown on what this game is about. It's a one-player game. It uses a joystick, and it might look familiar as far as the name goes. There's a 2007 version for the Atari 5200, but there are differences between these two. The goal of the game is that I need to find the golden chalice and return it to the castle, but the challenges that I'll encounter on my way would be finding the keys, to find my way around the maze, and then to stay alive from the attacking dragons. And this game came out in 2021, so it's not too old. All right, let me start this so I can give you a quick flavor of what it looks like. Adventure 2 XE. Let's put that in and see how it goes. All right, looks pretty good so far. Select game. I can go from 1 to 22. We'll keep it at 1. Randomness. Keep it normal. Mode. Normal. And the icon currently is the default one, which is that square. You can change it to the knight. An animated knight. That's pretty neat. A bat. Okay, we'll keep it simple. Let's just go with we'll go with that knight. Since I have 7 games to cover in this video, I'll be cutting and skipping around in this game just to give you the basic gameplay, the graphics, and sometimes the sound that you'll encounter while you're playing. Definitely need a bridge to cross. So that's a dragon. I can't fight the dragon without a sword, so I will not try to fight that dragon. As you can tell by me moving throughout this game that it's a challenging maze, so you're going to need to know where things are at as you move through it, or else you're going to be going in circles. There's not much sound either until you see something special, like the sword or the dragons that come around. Alright, well I think this gives you an idea of how this game goes. Reminds me a little bit of a joystick version of the Ultimate games by Lord British. Now the next one we're going to try is Beef Drop. This one came out in 2005. The cartridge is also translucent and you can see the chip with Beef Drop on the back. And by looking at the graphics on this one, well, this might look familiar because I remember playing Burger Time in the arcades, and that's exactly what this is like. So my goal is, as the chef, I have to go ahead and make burgers one part at a time, but I have to avoid a few things. Let's see if there's a picture of it. I think that's the egg. So there is a character called Mr. Yolk, the egg. And then we have Mr. Dill, the pickle slice. And then last but not least, we have Frank, the hot dog, right there. We have to avoid that, or actually put some pepper to get by. But you'll see more about this when I put this in. So let's try this out and see how this game goes. Okay, let's try Beef Drop. All right, I'm going to leave the default settings. So let's go. So my character is the chef at the bottom. I'm making my way up. You can see there are 4 hamburgers to be made at the bottom of the screen. Each time I walk across a layer of the burger, it drops, and then if the egg or pickle or hot dog are on that while it drops, well then they go too, and I'll earn some extra points. And as time passes, this will actually speed up, so I need to quickly drop the layers to get that burger done. I can also press the button on my joystick that will spray some pepper, which stops them in their tracks. And there right in the center, you can see is a bonus item that will appear. This one is an ice cream cone. Overall, this is a pretty nice action platformer game. This one is called Castle Crisis. It came out in 2004. It's another translucent cart, which I do love. This one will, however, require me to use a paddle instead of a joystick. And as I was looking at the image that's on the cartridge, and then I also read the manual online, I just knew I played this game before, and I was right. This was the 1981 Atari arcade game called Warlords. This homebrew clone has the very same simple concept and objective as that one. So what I'll be doing is basically trying to protect my castle from fireballs by using my shield that I control with my paddle. And as I'm protecting my castle, I try to bounce those fireballs towards my opponent's castles and then try to hit and destroy them before they destroy me. Sounds pretty simple, right? We'll see. Castle Crisis. Let's give it a shot. Okay, this one works. Looks like it saves high scores to the cart because you can see the team and player 1 high scores at the bottom here. It's just counting down to see if any more players. We'll just start it off with 4 players. I am the bottom left in red. And here we go. The other ones are the computer, the other 3. I'm actually in pink or purple, it's not really red. I do like how it's fast-paced because you're going to have to use your best hand-eye coordination to quickly maneuver your shield to protect your castle's wall. All right, I'm going to go ahead and speed through this towards the end because this is probably going to take me many, many minutes to get through. All right, well, that was fun. Now we're on to this one, which is not the same as the others with the cartridge itself. It is 3D printed. You can easily tell by the texture and the look and feel of it. This came out in 2016. I did get some instructions that I was showing it earlier. It's laminated. And I did read through this completely. The name Laser Blast X might sound familiar if you leave off the X, because this is a port of the original game Laser Blast by Activision in 1981. I'm expecting better graphics, so let's check it out. There we go, Laser Blast X. Okay, we have some options on this. I can select either Classic 2600 versus 3 tanks. Enhanced will be a shield covering over the tanks. Then we have tanks and fighters, so we have some planes, I believe. Enhanced, again, meaning that there's going to be a shield with 6 tanks, and then back to 2600. Enemies shoot lasers. They shoot bolts. We'll keep it at lasers. Tanks movement fixed or independent. We'll keep it fixed. Slow move to next set or warp speed to next set. We'll keep it at slow. And let's just start off with the classic 2600 one. Okay, pretty good graphics actually. Look at the backdrop. Look at the greenery too. Looks pretty nice. Well, I could do a kamikaze on these guys too. Pretty nice. And I can position my target aiming. I could go left, a little bit to the center, to the right. There's 5 positions actually as I get shot down there. So 5 positions I can aim my laser at, which is pretty neat. All right, let's try another option. The enhanced versus 4 tanks. Yeah, that's the shield that you see right above the tanks. So that blocks my laser. And you can see it actually blocked me from trying to crash into them as well. Let's go and see what the next option is. And that would be tanks and fighters. The fighters can shoot at me as well. I have to be careful of that. This game really does have some nice scrolling. A lot of enemies. Six tanks with enhanced. I'm guessing it's going to be a shield over the 6 tanks, right? Yep. So you have more tanks and that shield. Let me show you the other options. We're going to change the enemy shoot lasers to bolts. Okay, let's see what the difference is between laser and bolts. We've been doing laser this whole time. Oh, big difference. I still shoot lasers, but they are shooting bolts at me. And it's like kind of a dash. Wow. I'm not sure if it's easier or harder, actually. Wow, they're quick. You can see how those bolts are kind of like squiggly. Let me have this guy fire at me a little bit more. Look at that. It's kind of tricky. All right, so that's the difference between laser and bolts. And then we'll check out one more option here. Tank's movement, fixed or independent? We've been doing fixed, let's do independent. So I think they just kind of move, like it says, independently. Look at that. They just kind of cross each other. There's no pattern. It's a little bit harder to anticipate where the firing is coming from on the tanks and try to aim at them. That definitely gives it more of a challenge. Check that out. Look at that. pretty crazy. Okay. I think there's one more option to change, and that would be the slow move to next set. We'll make it warp speed. Oh yeah, just going quickly over to the next scene. It's fast. See how that goes? That's kind of cool. All right. That is Laser Blast X. I like the changes that they made from the original. Obviously, the graphics and the gameplay is so much better. So this is a pretty cool game. And then last but not least, as far as those that are not in the box, these 5 unboxed cartridges, we have Scramble. This one came out in 2018. Back to the translucent cart. And there it is, Scramble in the back. The game objective is just like the 1981 arcade original, which you are piloting a spacecraft horizontally through enemy terrain, where you're trying to destroy various targets while you avoid getting shot down, crashing into the terrain, or running out of fuel. For this one, you need to make certain that you have a 2-button joystick so that you can control both the laser cannons and the bombs independently on your spaceship. There is, however, an option to play with just 1 button, but then you're just really alternating your laser cannons with the bombs, and you're not having any real true control. There we go with Scramble. Here are the default settings for the options. We're going to leave it just as it is, but if you were to change it, all you have to do is press a number to the left that corresponds to that particular option. For example, for difficulty, it'd be number 1 on the keyboard, and rockets number 4, and so on. All right, let's begin. I do like the colors. They're very crisp, and the scrolling is smooth. I'm going to probably end up skipping around on this game so you can see all the different challenges. Well, I knew I had to use my bombs to get past that fuel section. I just totally froze, but pretty cool game. All right, now on to these 2-box collector's edition games that came from Poland by Retronics. And there's made in Poland. We're going to start with this one first. This is called Lite Rally. And this one came out in 2020. So let's go and check out what's included inside this box. So there's the box inside of a box. And in this white box, we have the game manual, And we have the cartridge. Cool graphics on it. And the manual. It's in English and very detailed. So I did read this already online. So I'm pretty versed as far as how this game goes. And basically it's a motorcycle game based in the 1980s. There are 16 different tracks to compete from various countries. Your goal is to place first in each race in order to unlock the next race. And what I found cool about this game is that it was created in honor of the achievements of a very famous Polish motorcyclist named Marek Michel. So in 1974, Marek rode his WSK 125 motorcycle around the Earth. He covered just under 40,000 kilometers. He did that all in 115 days. Pretty amazing. So let's go ahead and pop this into the Atari 800XL and see how this goes. All right, we're at my modded 800XL and ready to insert this game, Lite Rally. Let's check it out. Gotta love this sound. This soundtrack is going to be pretty awesome, I can already tell. It seems like a lot of these games... You know what, let me lower this down a bit first. It seems like a lot of these games from Europe, specifically Poland, have great soundtracks. And this is not one to disappoint. This is pretty cool. And we can see here there's 1 to 16 as far as the levels go. There's a code if you get. You can just bypass having to go up the levels. You can just jump right to it if you have a code. But we're just going to go right at it. So I'm going to leave it as is, turn the volume back up, and let's just see how far I can get. I should also mention that there's no need to shift gears in this game. All I need to do is press the fire button or just joystick up, and then the motorcycle will accelerate. And then if I need to brake, all I would have to do is joystick down. That's it. Pretty simple. Alright, that's cool. Let's try the next level. Wow, that was tough. But that was good. First place again. Let's see what the next country I'll be going to. Wow, close but no cigar. Definitely an awesome, challenging game, that's for sure. I got my eyes focused the whole time on making sure I didn't hit and collide into another motorcycle or the crowd or even into those rocks. I could see this being a game that I would try to achieve to get all 16 races unlocked. Pretty cool. Let me know what you guys think of that one. Is this something that's kind of rare? Because again, it's from Poland and it does say it's a collector's edition. I don't know much about it. Let me know what you all think in the comments below. Now let's take a look at the very last one. Well, this is it. This is the Rescue Expedition Collector's Edition from Retronics, and this came out in 2019. Let's check out the box. Pretty cool looking graphics in front. Kind of gives the Indiana Jones vibe. Or maybe even Pitfall. Here's some screenshots of the actual game. Okay, let's get this opened up and see what's inside. All right, once again, we have a box inside of a box. And you know what? These boxes, I just kind of realized, they're kind of hard to open. You can see there's some creases here. I've only opened it once, and it wasn't the easiest, but regardless, we got it out. Let's check out and see what's inside of this box. All right, well, we have the game manual, nicely produced. And then we have the cartridge. And then we have a nice little, I guess, prop. Looks like the rope. That's probably part of the game. So as far as the game's objective, well, let me first start off by saying this is very similar to the last game, where it's also based on a real historical event. In the mid-1860s, an explorer/doctor by the name of David Livingstone went missing as he was on an expedition to find the source of the Nile River. In the game, you are basically trying to find him in Africa while tackling the terrain and trying to stay alive from spiders, skeletons, mummies, acid, spikes, and fire. Now, as for the real rescue, Dr. David Livingstone was located by journalist Henry Morton Stanley in 1871. However, less than 2 years later, the good doctor died from malaria. On that sad note, let's start this rescue. Time to play the Rescue Expedition. Joysticks plugged in. Let's power this on. Gonna have some good music and sound in this one for sure. On the top, from left to right, the first image shows what's in my hand. Choices of gun, rope, or whip. Next to that is the number of lives. And the heart is my energy level. To the right of that is the flask, which are key to keeping my energy up when it drops. And then we have the pistol, which represents the bullets from my gun. Next is the level number, which I think decreases by 1 as I progress through each room. And then finally, my score. I do like that I'm not being pressured by time as I try to complete each of these levels, because it gives me more time to actually appreciate the game itself. A cool feature I noticed with this game is how it illuminates your character as you're moving throughout the level. Kind of gives you like an impression that you have a light source on you. But that feature itself, just to see it as you swing and move on the rope or just fall down, it just illuminates each section, which is pretty neat. Well, this here gives new meaning to thinking outside the box. Oh, I forgot to mention this in the beginning before I started the game, but the music that you're hearing can actually be toggled on or off anytime throughout the game by just pressing the option button. Well, this was a pretty challenging game, very different, and takes some time to get used to. At points, I was trying to toggle between the rope, or I guess the hook, and the gun, and the whip. Not quick enough. It just seems to go through a cycle where you can't go back. You just go forward, so you have to cycle through it quickly. And if you pass it up, you got to go through it again. And time is of the essence when you're trying to avoid spikes or the spiders or the mummy. So it got me killed a few times. But, you know, I guess once you get the hang of it, I probably get through it pretty easily. It definitely has a lot of cool areas to explore. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. That pretty much concludes all 7 games that I wanted to open up and play a little bit and show you all and get your opinion and feedback. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks again for watching. And until next time, remember, keep that gaming passion from the past alive by living it today. Take care, everyone.